Hey y'all, I am out here today. It is so hot. It is at least 95 degrees, but I have a lot of work to do in my garden, my future potager cottage garden. So I thought I would give y'all the end of May tour since I haven't done one since April. Now, full disclosure, we need to mow and we need to weed eat. Tommy says there's something wrong with the carburetor on the weed eater, that he needs to order a new carburetor. So you'll just have to ignore the weeds and not too high grass, but a little high. The only good thing about today is that we do have a bit of a breeze. But anyway, let's get started on this garden tour. All right, so we're gonna start over here with the potatoes I'm still growing in sacks, the coffee bags. Tommy hasn't weeded around this, so you can't even see that I have succulents under here somewhere. Anyway, these aren't quite ready to be harvested yet. I still have 2 sacks over here. They just kind of fell over eventually. Here I have some salvia. I want to say it was a purple. I haven't seen it since last year, so I've forgotten. So there's some salvia. Go back over here. This is the pergola build. Lots of wood still in the back for the decks we're about to build. There's the pergola. And here I have some jalapenos seeded and a sweet potato. These are going to be taken out. I had started these a while back and a caterpillar ate all the leaves off my jalapeno starts. Wasn't happy. The slips will be from the slips from the sweet potato will be planted somewhere else too. Here is my Mexican heather and oxalis. See the little pink flowers the oxalis gets. 2 avocado plants over here. This I think is called Angelonia. It's supposed to be an annual, but it comes back every year. I think it's Angelonia. If that's wrong, I'll correct it later. The fern is still doing good up here on the pergola. And that's a Confederate rose hibiscus that will be blooming in the fall. Big, huge pink flowers. Over here in our fire area, burn pit, s'mores, whatever, is Mexican heather. Never did figure out what the name of these little carnation type plants are, but they get a little pink carnation looking flower. Here's the hydrangea that I had transplanted. Still doing well. Hopefully I'll get back to big flowers next year. I planted a Confederate rose hibiscus here, a cutting. I have a bucket there to dump some on here in a couple of days. Just planted this about, I don't know, a week ago. And I put some rocks around it so Tommy wouldn't think it was a weed and mow it down till it's big enough to be recognized as a true plant. Here's the other Confederate rose hibiscus that I planted. I planted this one about a month ago from a cutting that was about, I don't know, was it 6 inches? No, this one was a lot longer, but I did a video on that one. Here are my elephant ears. They are huge. This is my hand. You can see how big they are. Goldfish Pond. It's got too much water in it right now, so the fountain isn't really working. You can just barely see the fountain bubbling. That's because we had gotten a bunch of rain. This is lemongrass, which I think is important to have in your garden because the scent mimics the pheromones of the queen bee and attracts bees to your garden. Here's one of those little carnation looking plants. You can't hardly see it because of the weeds. I'm gonna move it over here for now till Tommy weed eats. Now these are water hyacinth. They do get a flower on them. This is water lettuce. It got burned by the high heats we've had and it's now coming back. This is Ruellia. Gets a pink flower on it. There's more of the elephant ears. These on this end are smaller for some reason. And there's some caladiums. This is a blue potato bush, which does not get potatoes. It gets a pretty flower. Here is my okra, which is doing well. Keep in mind, I'm only growing enough food for 2 people this year. Don't need 50 jars of okra pickles. Over here, I have my tomatoes. They're under a shade cloth because it gets so hot here in Texas, it'll just burn your plants. I just got this put up a day or 2 ago because we were already seeing some burn on our tomatoes. As you can see by my sweet potato slip that's looking rather poorly, which will get watered here in a little bit. This is a bell pepper plant. This is cucumbers. And as you can see, I have some tiny cucumbers right there starting. Lots of cucumbers going to be coming off of these plants. And over here is my squash. Got a squash in there you may not be able to see. Got one there. I've already harvested a couple. There's one right there. This is my Mad Hatter pepper plant that comes back every year. I don't really have to do much to it. It's been here for several years. Now by the time I'm done with my garden, there will be very, very little grass. It's all going to be food and flowers. Over here is the tomatoes that I grew in the container. Still aren't ready. Gonna keep letting these grow some more. This is the back side of the cannas. Here are the climbing roses that I transplanted a year ago, I think. It's Perfume Breeze. They smell really good. My daughter bought me this one. I have it so that it's going to grow along this fence here and up the arch here. This vine here drives me insane. I'm constantly having to pull this off of stuff. It's tough. See, I'll get it off later. This is another rose. This one Tommy got me for Mother's Day. It was America, yeah. America climbing rose. Rosa Trepadora America. So this one is brand new from Mother's Day, and we'll probably be doing a whole lot better next year. Here's the back side of the okra. I have those boards there to keep my chickens from digging up my plants. That's what that's all about. There's canna on this side, red canna. Canna like to have wet feet. When my washing machine drains out here by the elephant ears, that water comes down and keeps these cannas moist. Here is the orange tree Tommy planted. Don't remember what kind. Let's see. Satsuma. It's a Satsuma orange. Need to take the tags off. Here's Tommy's dwarf banana. These are crepe myrtles, white and pink. And then between each one is Rurelia, a Mexican petunia. Here's gardenias. That's a gardenia. Gardenia. All of these are came from cuttings that I took from an old plant I had. We have some trumpet vine growing along the fence that really belongs to my neighbor. I should have cut it back for her this year, but I did not. That's why it looks so woody. Here is my shrimp plant. Doing pretty well. Not sure what happened here. Wind must have broken it. That whole stem needs to come out. I'll cut that off. And that one's broken too. We've had a lot of wind lately. I'll just start a new plant from this. Here's my hydrangea. Flowers are getting to the end of their life, and I'll be cutting those off to put in an arrangement in the house. Got a big spider web right there. I'll be moving this plant in the fall to a new location. Beautiful plant. Love hydrangeas. And last but not least is the new herb garden with sweet mint and a red bell pepper in the middle, pineapple sage, cilantro there, some lemon thyme, some Italian oregano, and some chives. Made this out of an old fan that Tommy took apart and I painted. So that's going to be the end of today's garden tour. I am going to get back inside where it's nice and cool and have a glass of iced tea. Thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe.